mornings since 09, 08, kind of in there.
You started at KMOX in 99. You were there for 5 years. I got that in my notes.
Yeah.
And so I think after you make it in one market for more than 10 years, you're pretty good at what you do.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that a rule of thumb?
That's your rule. I mean, I mean, Carney's been in the market for 30 years. He's terrible. So he might be the exception that proves the rule.
No, I found him to be quite, you know what he was? Seriously, he was funny. I think we talked about how you are an underrated storyteller. I think he's underrated when it comes to how funny he is.
Carney is hysterical. Carney is, he's quick. Funny. He's lightning quick. I mean, he is lightning fast. He's very funny. He used to write for Dick Cavett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was coveted in other opportunities before he found his way with what he's doing now, as I understand it.
Middays at the Big 550 KTRS with Julie Buck.
Plug. The Dorseys love you. All right, charities. What are we talking about? What do we make sure everybody knows about?
Nurses for Newborns. One of the great things I've had to do. One of the things, as Jack Buck says, use the microphone for good. And so if I can promote anything, it's that Nurses for Newborns is a wonderful organization that helps the least among us, as well as some very well-off women, because there's a lot, extended families being what they are, not having grandmothers and grandfathers around, young parents not having any parents around. They go and send nurses into homes of newborns and help the mother sort of learn how to deal with the kid. And if they need diapers and clothes and formula, they help out there, but they also help out emotionally as well as physically. And so if I had to pick one charity for me, it'd be Nurses for Newborns.
Good stuff. As we talked about in the podcast, you grew up in New York, you went to school in Nebraska, you got your job in St. Louis at KMOX. How long did it take you before you figured out people were a little weird about where they went to high school?
Before I got here, it's like a warning when you sign up. They're like, okay, people are going to ask you where you went to school, and it's not college, it's high school. And you're like, okay. I mean, it's sort of like St. Louis's inferiority complex.
Absolutely is.
I don't know why it's such a big deal. It's like, oh, everyone's going to ask you where you went to high school. Okay, well, I didn't go here. I'm sure there are people who live in St. Louis who didn't go to high school here. That's okay.
When you go to Drew's, what do you order?
I order the McGraw concrete.
I knew that was coming.
Half Oreo, half Heath, a bestseller for over 10 years.
Again, I'm your setup guy. That's just my role today.
Whatever it takes.
I'll give you the easy ones and then you knock them down. Favorite concert? Is there one in St. Louis?
Oh, wow. I went to go see Jamie Foxx at the Fox Theater.
Okay.
And I was in the second row and Torrey Holt was behind me. So I turned to him halfway through the show and I said, hey, Torrey Holt, I got way better seats than you do. So he laughed. And
see, I thought you were going to go, should I go down a little bit so that you can see?
Jamie Foxx. So Jamie Foxx was fantastic. It was half comedic, half music. And halfway through the musical, halfway through the show, he points right to me and he's like, I'd like to give my white friend a shout out. And he points right to me. That was a fun night.
Radio, after all these years, is there anything about the St. Louis market which you think makes it different?
I know everywhere says it's different. St. Louis really is different. If you love St. Louis will love you back. And people come in here who try and tell you, let me teach St. Louis a thing or two. I don't think lasts very long. If you come in here with the philosophy of you're going to love St. Louis will love you back.
Last general question before we rack it up. The two St. Louis questions we end every St. Louis 7 with. Kind of a loaded question, but is there anything that if we would get our stuff together, St. Louis as a city would be much more better for it?
You mean what if I could wave a wand, would I fix?
Yeah, and again, loaded question, but
yeah. I think the balkanization of St. Louis is destroying us. I think the 88 towns, the 55 police departments are killing us. Maybe at one point back in the day, it made sense, but there's no reason why town and country needs their own police department. There's really no reason why Normandy needs their own police department. Do you know that there's a town or a school district, I think it's like 24-1, where 24 different towns feed into one school district. Think of how many police departments you have to drive through to get to town, how many mayors, how many aldermen, how much rapidity is involved in your 5-mile drive to school, and your 5-minute commute to school, right? What an utter waste. And I think that we could do a much better job at consolidating. We don't need 55 police departments. I think the people who hang on to that have some type of monetary reason for hanging on to it. They're making money off the dysfunction. And I think we would do much better to speak with one voice, one police department. Other communities have done it. Indianapolis has done it. Louisville's done it. They've all succeeded, and they've all surpassed us in many ways because they're acting as one voice, right? The Indianapolis Colts have the Indianapolis Colts because they spoke as one voice. Nashville is booming. St. Louis has got to realize that, yeah, it's nice that the fire chief knows your name, but do you really need, how many police departments do we need in this town? How many fire departments do we need? How many mayors do we need in this town? Do we really need 88 mayors in St. Louis County? So if I could wave a wand, that's what I'd do.
Hey, and kudos for being the first guest to drop balkanization.
Oh, you're welcome.
I liked it very much.
I'm happy to help.
Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 to 10 a.
6 to 10, Big 550 KTRS. Yes.
All right. People come and visit you, McGraw. Where do you take them?
Ted Drews to have the McGraw Creek. Where do I take them? It's a good question. I go to the Arch. I love the Arch. I love the old courthouse, the statue of Harriet Tubman and Harriet and Dred Scott, or Harriet and Dred Scott. Bush Stadium, you got to take them to. What else do I do? The normal stuff. Nothing crazy. That's sort of the go-to. I'm trying to think here. Forest Park.
Have you done the aquarium yet?
I have done the aquarium. My sisters were in town for Christmas and we went to the aquarium, which I was, we couldn't get over how much more impressed I was than I thought I'd be. I was like, okay, fish in a bowl. All right, whatever. But the whole train that you get on, the fake train that sort of takes you off, and the John Goodman voiceover, and the aquarium was fantastic. But yeah, the classics, the City Museum, the zoo, the Arch.
There's no wrong answer. Don't stress.
Play the hits, right?
Come by Westport, see my show.
I do drive him by the big Amico sign on Skinker. I do that too. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to catch McGraw on Overtime with Oliver, it's wherever you get your podcasts. Again, we've never met before. I want to thank you very much for your time. The way we typically end these episodes is with the question, what makes you proud to be a St. Louisan, McGraw?
Wow, that's a good question. I am thrilled that my daughter is going to grow up to be a St. Louisan, because deep down, they're good people. And you can fight over the dumbest things in the world, be it, I can say bad things about my mother. You can't say anything bad about my mother. And we can argue about St. Louis, but don't let anybody else say anything bad about St. Louis. And no matter how much we're angry with each other and disagree with whatever philosophy, St. Louis knows I got their back, and I know that they got my back. And so St. Louis is a town of, we're all family in some weird way, and there's that connection. And no matter how different we are, we're all St. Louisans. And that's pretty special and pretty rare.
That is very well put, my friend.
All right,
See,
good.
in St. Louis, you also call people friends when you've only met them for an hour. That's kind of what we do. Stay healthy, stay good.
David, thank you very much. Be safe.